Okay, Magic Tree House, Night of the Ninjas, chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8, okay? Flames in the mist. The water grew shallow again. Then they were on dry land. The ninjas followed Jack and Annie to the ground. Thanks, said Annie. Thanks, said Jack. Squeak, said the mouse. The ninjas said nothing, but they looked around. Jack looked around too. A full moon was rising up in the sky. Dark rocks dotted the side of the mountain. Then the ninjas started moving. They went silently up the slope, between the rocks. Jack and Annie followed them. Jack wasn't afraid of the ninjas now. In fact, he was starting to like them. Maybe they really could help find Morgan. The ninjas moved silently, but Jack and Annie made plenty of noise. They panted as they climbed the rocky hillside. Their wet sneakers made squishy sounds. Suddenly, the ninjas froze. Jack could see their eyes darting from one to another. Voices were coming from the valley below. Jack saw torches flaming in the mist. The ninjas started moving faster. Jack and Annie hurried after the ninjas. Who's carrying the torches? Asked Annie. Jack was too out of breath to speak. He also didn't have an answer. They came to a pine forest. Night birds called out. Wind rattled the branches. The ninjas moved like ghosts through the forest. They appeared and disappeared through moonlight and shadows. Jack and Annie struggled to keep up. Finally, the ninjas came to a stop. One ninja held out his hand as if to say, wait. Then both ninjas stepped away into the shadows of the tree and were gone. Where did they go? Said Annie. I don't know, said Jack. Maybe the book can tell us. He pulled the ninja book out of his pack. He turned the pages until he came to a picture of a cave. By the light of the full moon, Jack read. Sometimes ninjas held meetings in hidden mountain caves to plan secret missions. Oh man, said Jack. I bet they went inside a hidden cave. He pulled out his notebook and pencil and he wrote, meetings in hidden caves. Jack turned the page. He stared at a picture of a ninja sitting on a mat. He read, ninjas took orders from a ninja master. The master was a mysterious, wise person who knew many secrets of nature. Wow, whispered Jack. Just then, the two ninjas returned. Jack quickly put his books away. The short ninja motioned for Jack and Annie to follow. In the shadows was the entrance to the cave. What's in there? Annie whispered. The ninja master, Jack whispered back. Chapter 6, Shadow Warrior. Jack and Annie went into the cave. They followed the ninja through the darkness. The back of the cave was lit with dozens of candles. Shadows danced on the walls. In the flickering light, Jack saw a dark figure sitting on a woven mat. The ninja master. The ninja bowed to his master, and then he stepped to one side. The master stared at Jack and Annie. Sit, he said. Here, I'm just gonna move the camera so you can see my doggy sitting with us. Is that all right? You see Bentley? All right, maybe I'll turn back. Okay. Bentley's there. Bentley's with me. Okay. So he bowed to the ninja master. The ninja bowed to the master, then he stepped to one side. The master stared at Jack and Annie. Sit, he said. Jack and Annie sat on the cold, hard floor. Squeak, squeak. The mouse poked its head out of Annie's pouch. It's okay, Peanut, said Annie. The master stared at the mouse for a moment, then he looked at Jack. Who are you? He said. I'm Jack, and that's my sister Annie. And here's the picture. Where do you come from? The master asked. Frog Creek, Pennsylvania, Annie answered. Why are you here? He asked. We're trying to help our friend Morgan Le Fay, said Jack. She left us a message. Annie pointed to the short ninja. We gave the message to him. You mean you gave the message to her, said the ninja master, and she has given it to me. She, said Jack and Annie together. The woman ninja eyes sparkled. Jack thought she might be smiling too. The master held up Morgan's note. Perhaps I can help you, but first you must prove yourselves worthy of the help. Just then the tall ninja appeared. He made a sign to the master. The master stood up. He handed Morgan's note to Annie. We must go now, he said. The samurai are close. Samurai, said Jack. He knew that the samurai were fierce Japanese fighters. Were they the ones in the valley, Jack asked? The one holding up the torches? Yes, our family is at war with them, said the master. We must leave before they find us. But what about helping Morgan, said Annie. The master strapped on his sword. I have no time now. I must go. Can't we go with you, said Annie. No, there's no place for you where we are going. You must find your way back to your house in the trees. Alone, said Jack. Yes, you must go alone. And beware of the samurai. Why, said Jack. They will think you are one of us, said the master. They will ask you no questions. They will show you no mercy. Yikes, whispered Annie. But you have seen the way of the ninja. You can practice it yourselves now, said the master. How, said Jack. Remember 3 things, said the master. What, said Jack. Use nature, be nature, and follow nature. I can do that, said Annie. Jack looked at her. You can, he said. The master turned towards Jack. Your treehouse lies to the east. That is the way you must go. How, wondered Jack. How do we find east? Before he could ask, the master bowed. Then he disappeared into the shadows. The 2 ninjas led Jack and Annie out of the cave into the moonlight. The tall one pointed at the pine forest. Then they too disappeared into the darkness. Jack and Annie were all alone. All right, chapter 7, To the East. Jack and Annie stood still for a long moment. Annie spoke first. Well, I guess the tall ninja was pointing east, she said. I guess that's the way to go. Wait, said Jack. I need to write some stuff down. He took out his notebook. In the moonlight, it was so bright, he wrote down 1, use nature, 2, be nature, 3, follow nature. Look, Jack, whispered Annie. Do I look like a ninja? He looked at her. She had pulled her sweatshirt hood over her head and had tied the strings tightly, like a ninja. She did look like one, a very small one. Good idea, whispered Jack. He pulled his hood up too. Okay, let's go, said Annie. Jack put his notebook away, then he headed east into the woods. They slipped between the trees and more trees and more trees. All the trees looked the same. Jack got really confused. Were they still going in the right direction? Wait, he said. Annie stopped. They both stared at the woods around them. Do you think we're still going east, asked Jack. I guess so, said Annie. We can't just guess, said Jack. We have to know for sure. Well, how do we do that, said Annie. We don't have a compass. Just then, the master's words came back to Jack. The ninja master said to use nature, he said. How do we do that, said Annie. Wait, I remember something. Jack closed his eyes. He remembered something in a camping book. Now, what was it? He opened his eyes. I've got it. First, we need a stick. Annie picked up a stick. Here, she said. Great. Now we just need a space with moonlight. There, said Annie, over there. Oops, sorry. Okay. Over there, Annie said. Come here, Bentley. Bentley. Now push the stick into the ground, Annie said. The stick shadow looks like it's more than 6 inches. What do you think? It looks like it, said Annie. Okay, then that means the shadow's pointing east, said Jack. Neat, said Annie. So that way is east. Jack pointed in a new direction. At least I hope it is. We're real ninjas now, said Annie. Yep, said Jack. Maybe we are. Come on. They took off heading east, they hoped. Soon they were out of the pine woods and walking down the rocky mountainside. They moved slowly from rock to rock. Finally, they rested against a giant rock. Let's check our direction again, said Jack. Annie stuck another stick into the dirt. There, he said. He pointed to the shadow on the ground. That way. Annie peeked over the rock down the mountain. Yikes, she said softly. Jack looked too. His heart nearly stopped. There were flames of fire coming up the mountain. The samurai. Jack and Annie ducked behind the rock. Squeak, squeak, said the mouse. Quiet, Peanut, said Annie. Jack reached into his pack. He pulled out the ninja book. I hope there's something in here that can help us, he said. He flipped through page after page until he found what he was looking for. It was a picture of warriors. They were wearing bamboo armor. They were holding swords, and he read, the samurai were fierce Japanese fighters. They carried 2 swords to cut down their enemy. Annie tapped Jack on the shoulder. Jack looked at her. She pointed up the mountaintop. A figure was coming down towards them. He was very near. In the moonlight, his bamboo armor was shining. His 2 swords were gleaming. It was a samurai warrior. All right, that was end of chapter 7.